100% free of any external need for gas or oil. We are shifting away from oil. That means the oil companies in Texas will not do well. They know that. And instead, the gas companies will increase in capability and capacity, and we are now a net exporter of gas and oil to all countries in the world, so we are self-sufficient. Economically, even though we don't look as if we're doing well right now, we will rebound for the simple reason that you and I have always said. We are an entrepreneurial country where we can turn around on a dime. We can create a business in 4 days or 4 hours. And as you said, even though we have to pay the taxes or we can avoid the taxes, we know how to create businesses, which is very similar from the rest of the world. So from that point of view, we're doing very well. We will rebound on the stock market. It needed a correction. Actually, the next 2 weeks will be the most important 2 weeks where we will see that rebounding element, and it will come into a new segment. Oil and gas and energy will no longer be the primary drivers of our economy. It will probably be the game changers like innovation, e-systems, or anything dealing with the internet and information capacity.
All right, let me just stop you for just a moment, because oil exploration is at all-time highs here in the U.S. As you know, we're the #1 producer and exporter now in the world. That only seems to be gearing up. So I don't understand your perspective there on that won't be central anymore. It looks to me like it's getting more central. I'm not disagreeing with you. I know that we're on the cutting edge of technology. But it's the overall point that we're doing well, we're doing good. I get that China is a criminal, psychopathic group that's running it. I get that Russia is a bunch of failed mobsters running it. But it doesn't mean that I agree with George Soros, in there overthrowing Ukraine and starting stuff with Russia to then force it into an implosion. It's the worldview that we do well when everybody else does bad. I'd buy into that maybe, at least intellectually I would understand it, if they weren't trying to shut down the free market here, jack up taxes here. I would get a predatory view if the super predators didn't prey on us. So I don't even buy into there's 3 power blocks. It's more like globalist feeding and manipulating, like chaos or specter over the whole operation. And I see America losing the moral high ground. I mean, I see our military saying no to Obama wanting to back al-Qaeda openly in Syria, but they still ends up happening just by changing the name. So whereas I do see a lot of virtue in the military compared to the general public that doesn't even know what planet they're on, I see our salvation and destruction. The seeds are both there. So I get your perspective. They're trying to help U.S. interests by doing all these things, and it does end up helping us to a certain extent. At least it did in the past. These were policies for the American people. Now, I see different elements working against each other more than ever within the Anglo-American establishment. That's what I'm trying to get at, Dr. Pieczenik, is that I see America becoming just as immoral as the Russians or the Chinese.
Well, morality was never the key issue in foreign policy. What has been the key issue of foreign policy for the United States, Alex, has always been we're not interested in friends or enemies. It's what our interests are. What are the American interests at this particular
No, I know, but a lot of what our so-called government does flies in the face of our interest.
Whoa. Our American interests have nothing to do with the Middle East. We've been pulling out of the Middle East, and we have been shifting Asia, because our interest right now is with the growth and expansion of a China.
Okay, well, let me tell you this then. Tell us from talk to us like we're 5 years old. So I know you've been, on the inside. What are the power blocks in the U.S. right now? Who's dominant? Because I see a lot of tug of war going on over the levers of power. That's why I think Obama's paralyzed. But, correct me if you think I'm wrong. What are the power blocks?
The power blocks are not the Council on Foreign Relations or the Atlantic Council or all the things that people think about. The real power blocks in the United States are the same power blocks that Stalin said came out of a gun. Whatever comes out of a gun, that firepower, is what consists of power. The firepower that we have in the American military and its capability to span over 220 countries, 730 bases, is very formidable. Our capability to assess intelligence capabilities, be it failures, and I'm the first one to even complain about it, is quite formidable. Those are the two major sui generis power blocks. The President of the United States is not relevant. Absolutely irrelevant. Has been irrelevant for the past 30 years. Because the devolution of power, thanks to you and others, has come to the governors. The governors of every state have become more and more important.
And they have to start exercising their power.
That's correct. But you have to choose governors who've had experience in managing a huge system. We didn't choose that. We didn't choose a president who knew how to manage large systems. We've chosen presidents who've gone on television with this Mickey Mouse show and have had no experience whatsoever, all the way back to Obama, Bush Jr.
Well, we do see the military brass more and more not following the orders of the president. That is unprecedented. I want to end up on that with you on the other side. See if you agree with that or where you see that going. But I mean, we've had Dempsey telling the chairman of the telling the chairman of the Senate Armed Service Committee that he's full of it, telling Obama he's wrong. That is wild. We'll be right back.
This hour brought to you by InfidelBodyArmor.com. When it hits the fan, don't be left without the body armor that will save your life. With prices starting at just $374.99 and ships free. Get yours at InfidelBodyArmor.com. Just won't quit.
Hey, Boomer! I learned in school today that 60% of our bodies are made of water. Good thing we have the Berkey system. It's the cleanest, best water ever. Mom says it's because the Berkey's filtration system cleans out the bad stuff and leaves only pure, delicious water. I know, right? You love it too. Yeah, I'm thirsty too. Let's go get some. Get Berkey Clean Water by calling 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Or visit GoBerkey.com.
Hi, Ted Anderson with Midas Resources. Is it time to convert paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver yet? Get our 10 Reasons book free. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO, organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality.
Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.
We all have our own idea about what being safe and secure means. The door's locked, bills are paid, you've got a job that keeps the lights on, and a home to call your own. But what happens when Mother Nature throws a curveball?
I'm telling you, just take cover.
Are you prepared to live without electricity or passable roads for weeks at a time? Do you even have a plan B? If you do, are you willing to bet your life on it?
Children left with no homes.
And no one's coming to help them.
The first step towards self-reliance in the face of disaster is a visit to MyPatriotSupply.com. There you'll find the absolute best prices on storable foods, non-GMO seeds, emergency water filtration devices, and so much more. All orders over $49 qualify for free shipping in the lower 48 states. Call 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927 and speak to one of our preparedness advisors today. Or visit us at MyPatriotSupply.com. Remember, before it's time to survive, it's time to prepare.
Here's what I'm trying to get across to listeners. I grew up in a house where we read history books. We were into what had happened in the world. I learned that history was incredibly exciting. Studying government was incredibly exciting. Studying military history was incredibly exciting. And I'm not even that smart of a person. Then I realized the general public does not even know the three branches of government on average. People are getting more and more disconnected, but they don't trust the system at the same time. But they're still like fish out of water. They're so ignorant. So you've got a political class that's been feeding on that. and getting away with bloody murder, but also smoking their own dope and becoming incompetent themselves. You can't have that in an age of nuclear weapons and drones and flesh-eating bacteria and Ebola. And I just hope that this political elite hits the panic button and pulls up. You know, Dr. Pieczenik could say, well, there's nothing really moral in geopolitics. Well, I get the Machiavellian view. But at a certain point, if you don't have moral authority, you don't have anything. I don't even buy into the Machiavellian view, and I'm not accusing you, Doc, of being Machiavellian. I think the true moral high ground is the way to go. It creates prosperity. It creates security. History shows that. I see the military as the most awake group. I don't lionize the military when it's involved as an instrument of evil in many cases. I just have studied things and found it is one of the only large reservoirs of people that are dedicated and listen to me. So I don't get the paradox of the military doing all these evil deeds for the globalist, sometimes doing good, but then loving me, showing that they do support the Second Amendment and so many things. And it's clear there's a power struggle going on, and I see the military more and more not being belligerent, but disagreeing with the worst political pimps like Senator Graham and Obama. Briefly, putting bookends on it, where is the military right now stacked up against the rest of the power structure?
Military has stood its ground. Dennis Clapper, the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, has refused to resign, and I'm glad that, because even after Obama accused him and the rest of the intelligence community of being a failure, which of course was absurd, when they in fact were briefing Obama, the military will stand up to their duty. That's our military. They believe in country. They believe in honor. They don't do that for money. They're not mercenaries. This is not Blackwater. But you always have to remember, Alex, and your audience has to understand, democracy is always, there's a tension between the repression inherent in the republic. We're a republic, not a democracy, and those of us who protest against it and serve it. So we have a constant tension and paradox between two elements of our republic. That's been true since the founding of our fathers. They had to have money. They had to fight against Congress. They had to fight against the homeland. But only 4% of our population fought in the Revolutionary War out of 700,000 people. That was a minor group. And we have never literally been, subservient to any political group. If you think a political group can dominate the United States, be it the president or anybody else, I think that's over.
No, I know. I mean, the Iraqis fighting back, the military couldn't even handle them. If the American people ever realize the power they have, this could all end very quickly. I think that's where the answer lies. How do we get the spirit of the American people to wake up again and start acting like free people?
I think the spirit comes in from people like you and others who caution them and encourage them to get involved in local politics. Nothing is more effective than grassroots politics. Be it in Dallas or be it in El Paso, when you vote for a city commissioner, a county commissioner, you're beginning to affect the
yeah, we have a super patriot liberty lover who's the front runner for city council right now, Dr. Laura Presley. I'm seeing it all over the country. Dr. Pieczenik, thanks for the hour. StevePieczenik.com. Very interesting perspective. Thank you so much. We got Max Kaiser on the economy coming up.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.